Good morning. Welcome to the Barrel Roll Newscast for July 28th, 2018.
Today we're talking the Culling 2.
Xbox. Microsoft's ready to talk about its new console.
More on the Disney Fox deal.
And we have some updates with some Star Wars movies coming up.
And all that and more.
Season?
Hello, everybody.
Good morning. Welcome. Or afternoon.
Or whenever you're watching.
Or really.
Or after hours.
Welcome to the Barrel Roll Newscast. We talk about news and movies. You're self-conscious.
I'm all over the place.
You're self-conscious about not having a hat, probably.
That's what it is.
Probably what it is. Welcome. My name's Tony.
I'm Nick.
I'm Chris.
And I'm Ross.
We're going to talk about some news.
Hi, gentlemen. First
Hello.
of all, welcome.
I don't have a hat down here.
No, you don't have a hat down. You can put something on your head for a hat.
There you go.
Anything's a hat if you're brave enough. There we go. Hat. Duck hat.
There's a bowl up there. That might work a little bit.
But there's things in it.
Yeah, there's
Oh.
And it looks a little kind of heavy.
Oh,
No
Just
hat.
put the Spider-Man mask on. Yeah, no
we
hat.
have hats for that. Let's get into it, shall
yes, talking about movie and game news from the last
we?
week.
Week or so, yeah.
So a little bit of an update from last week's stuff, yes.
So I guess first and foremost, I kind of brought this to you guys' attention. It's kind of weird. The developers of Culling. The Culling is a 2015 early access game, touted as sort of the first battle royale game onto the scene before, like, predating PUBG, predating Fortnite, obviously. But some of the fans were kind of annoyed with it because when they first launched the game, it was apparently a fairly good game. They started making updates for it, which kind of broke it a little bit more, kind of made it a little bit more imbalanced. And then after 2 or 3 months, the developer said, nope, we are no longer putting updates into the Culling because we are working on a new game called the Culling 2, which was released last week.
So
Unfortunately,
don't really finish the first game and go straight into
To
the
the
second.
and go
Seems
straight.
weird, but okay.
Yeah.
that's a very Valve move. And the worst part about it is that the Culling 2 essentially was a PUBG clone. It
So
was,
instead of doing their own thing,
they
reverted
basically
to-
copied it. It looks very similar to PUBG. And it's got its pulled back camera. It's got its inventory looking like systems, everything like that. And so literally the game came out, I think on like a Wednesday or something like that, on early access. And by the second day, it literally had like single-digit players count.
That's pretty low.
It was so bad, and the fans were so miffed about it that obviously they either played it, bought it, didn't play it, or
Right.
just straight up didn't buy it. The developers actually came out and said, okay, we done messed up. We apologize for this. So they basically took the game off Steam, they took it off PlayStation and
Sure.
Xbox. We'll be issuing refunds for anyone who actually purchased it, as well as said that we are actually going back to the Culling 1 and then rolling back all of the updates so that it's a 1.0 of what you guys enjoyed back in 2015. Also, we're going to make it free to play.
Well,
So
at least they're
loot
making it
crates.
free to play.
So loot crates
Yeah.
and cosmetics.
Yeah.
So that the craziest part about it is that they admitted their own fault all the way back to when the game first came out.
Well, that's
The
big.
first game.
At least, yeah.
Which is, it's probably the right thing to do. But
Yeah, and
you,
all that-
you never hear it happen.
All that money spent on developing
I know.
Developing the second
the
one.
second game that they could have spent
They
making
actually-
the first game decent enough.
Right, and it was
we
still
would have heard
early
about it
access.
and played it.
Yeah.
It was still in early access
Yeah.
when they stopped development after 2 or 3 months. And then there was apparently a communication break. Like,
Yeah, that
nothing.
usually happens.
Of nothing. And so basically the community was like, WTF, you guys came out of nowhere with the sequel to the game that we wanted more from the first one. Like, what gives? And I think it went down to like 6 players or something like that for
Wow.
the second one. I'm like, whoa.
But why are you going to buy a game after these people clearly ditch games halfway
Yeah.
through?
Right.
Like, I know people are complaining about the Friday the 13th game.
Right, but at least they're still
That's a legal
updated.
battle though right now.
There's part of a legal battle. Part of it too was the developers. Like we had a game. Brian and I played the game.
It was
Yeah.
kind of rough at launch, but now it's much better.
It was rough at launch because we melted the servers.
Yes.
Because
And people
They didn't
attack other campers.
Well,
okay, but so the initial launch problem for Friday the 13th was they expected 10,000 people to play, and 30,000 people played, and the servers were like, "What's going on?" And they're like, "You guys legitimately like things were almost on fire." So we're sorry that you can't play, but holy jeez,
yes.
like we have hired extra people. They're fixing things that y'all lit on fire.
We
So
put the fire out and put a new machine.
essentially, yeah, they're like we had to replace machines. So there was that problem. Then yes, there was the other campers hurting campers, so they were teaming up with the Jason. So like if Brian and I were playing, it would be like, oh Brian, like I'll take out these 3 and you hunt.
Because there's
that
nothing
2,
stopping
and-
you from using Discord or Skype or
Right.
whatever.
Yeah.
The problem, and that became an issue because attacking other campers not a horrible thing. If you think about it, my job is to survive. Well, if
Do you get
You
more
and I-
points in that game if you survive
Yes.
alone?
no,
No.
Okay.
no, you
It's-
just get more.
The only
points if you
reason
survive.
why you might is if someone has the keys to the vehicle and they're not giving it to you.
Oh.
Or, again, we're running next to each other and Jason's coming. If I wound you, you slow down for a second and I can keep going and Jason catches you and not me. Like, in the grand scheme of things, that's what was supposed to happen, and that's why they let campers attack each other, was essentially a better you than me scenario.
yeah.
Like the movies happen. You get you get the Todd of the movies who's like, no, you're going to die. And I mean, Todd gets his comeuppance in the end. The whole shtick is in the games.
Yeah.
You know, and Todd being just that jerk character who, in the movies, who's better, you're gonna die, and then he drives off, and all of a sudden Jason's in the road and stabs him, whatever it happens to be, and then Jared Padalecki survives,
Yeah.
if you watch,
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, that's. But yeah.
so there was those, and so that one was more of an issue with just the player base, but then all of a sudden the player base was like, well, your game could run better, and this could do this, and this could do that, and it's like, could you guys...
It's an indie studio, isn't it?
It was a baby little studio,
Like,
but the
it's
baby little studio promised a lot of things. So they've actually updated the entire
So
game
No
to
Man's
run on the
Sky.
new...
I was just gonna say that's another big update.
Yeah, but
The
there's...
big
So
update.
they updated to the new Unreal Engine, all of this stuff, and then the legal battle happened, so they can't update anymore. And they're like, you promised us Jason X, and there's like, there is nothing we can do.
Space. We're still waiting for a space one.
Right, so they're like, we can work on it, but
Campfire
if
in
this
space.
if this legal thing goes wrong, we can't release it.
Mm-hmm.
So we're not going to put the man hours into doing this. So my thing is Gun Media, or what I think it's Gun, put in hours and hours and hours and hours and hours into this game, like Friday the 13th.
Yeah.
If this is as far as it gets, this is as far as it gets. It's a good game. It's the game essentially we were promised. There are
And
counselors.
honestly-
there is Jason.
But they didn't
You
stop
get-
after the
it-
first expansion and created number 2.
Right. So like
And it's not like it was a full $80 game. It was
No.
like a $30 or $40 game.
$40.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like
something
it
like
wasn't
that.
a full-fledged game.
yeah. Well, now the collector's edition, like they're trying to release the collector's edition, which again, they promised was coming. All the because it comes with the mask.
Okay.
Well, all of that stuff finally got printed and released, and so like all the physical stuff finally got done, and they're like, "Hey, the collector's copies are coming." And they're like, "For a dead game," and they're like,
Wow, it's like you've never backed
can't
Mighty
make-
Number 9.
You
Well, but
can't
I'm
make
s-
people everyone happy.
"You can't," but there's a lot of people that are really pissed at that game, and I don't quite understand.
I've stopped playing it.
When you have, and I haven't played it in forever.
Yeah.
But when you have something like this, where
The Culling.
developers essentially like, "We're done with this game.
Yeah.
The second one's coming," and you're like,
That's
"But
a-
you
it's a
didn't
money
finish
grab.
the
The only
first
see
one."
the only one that really works with is Left 4 Dead, if you remember that one, because Left 4 Dead 1 came out, and then the next year they announced Left 4 Dead 2, and everyone was the same response, like, but you guys just made one. Valve did go back on their word and say, okay, so if you have Left 4 Dead 1, you can play Left 4 Dead 2 content in Left 4 1. Vice versa, if you have Left 4 Dead 2, you can play the content from the first game in
Which
the
makes
second
no
game.
sense.
Yeah.
But essentially, because the games are basically the same. Like, they didn't do any graphical overhauls. They didn't
Yeah,
change
but-
any mechanical stuff. So you could play the old maps in the new game.
See, but NHL does that every year.
Yeah.
Every sports game does that every year, where
Yeah.
I'm like, and I mean, you have the people like NHL 19's coming, and I saw some videos for it the other day, and I'm like, I actually get to play that because I'll have a PlayStation again.
It'll be 2020 by then.
Well, no, so it's NHL 19, so
Is it
it's
still 19?
yeah, it comes out in September.
I don't know these games.
Either way, it comes out when the season
Games are
starts.
hard. Games are
Either
hard.
way, like every year, and essentially a lot of the times it's a roster update and a couple different modes.
Yeah, maybe
Right.
like add a different mechanic
Yeah.
into it,
Like
like
sports
polish up the
games-
stick handling or
So,
something.
but
Sports
that's the
games
thing
is the
is-
only thing that can really get away with that. So
Is it the only
I
thing
don't
that can
think
get away
so.
with it?
I
Have you
think-
looked at the Assassin's Creed?
Right.
run?
I think as long as you
They
finish,
took a break last year, so
They
They
did.
did. I think as long as you
But now
finish
they're
your
back.
first
They're back.
game,
They don't need to be back.
like
Yeah.
I think as long as you have a complete game, it's okay to release a sequel a year later.
If,
the
you,
thing-
if you set out at the start, this is how many DLCs we're gonna do,
Yes.
and then you finish that, that's a complete game.
And so that's the
And you
big
move on.
See, and that was the thing with No Man's Sky was
Oh god.
they released with
Nothing.
they're like
Very-
here's the list
They
of
had
features
so
that are
many
gonna,
promises.
Well, they did. Like here's the list of features that are going to be in the game, and then they released and there was this. I
Which,
mean,
arguably it's better now.
no, the DLCs apparently, if you've actually read people who have played the game,
Mhm.
it's incredible now. Like
Yeah.
create your own
That's
characters.
what it
You're
should
not
be.
just
That's
sparking
what it should
now
have been
there
at the
is.
start.
Do you
And
have
now
to
there's
pay
not-
more for the DLCs?
No,
because
There's no, it's all free updates.
It's all
okay.
So
Because,
that's why I'm actually.
That's
I'm not-
fine. If it's like, you know what, this is everything that the game is going to be.
Yep.
We have this much done right now. You can play that.
They just-
and then as we knock things off
They
the
never
list, we'll just
said
add
it
in
that
there.
way, though.
Yeah.
That was the problem.
Yeah.
Is they're like the game's out, and everybody jumped in, going like,
Right.
yeah, space exploration and building bases and doing all this thing and collecting resources. Da 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 da. They hopped into the game and they're like, I can scan a dinosaur, and they're like, yeah, isn't it great? And they're like, you promised me base building, and they're like, and then they wouldn't say anything.
Yeah, it was, and unfortunately that studio was going through a lot of rough times. Actually, physically, their studio was flooded.
All you need to do
Which
is
sucked.
communicate.
And that was the issue.
Yeah, and
Was there was no
they had no
communication.
PR person.
and that's why,
basically.
I mean,
Well, Pokemon went through
Culling
that
at
too.
least came back and
Pokemon
said,
Go,
"Oops."
yeah, Pokemon Go went through that for a long time.
But now, like, even No Man's Sky's come out going like, hey guys, the game is essentially what we promised it is, and anybody who's willing to play it at this point is going like, yes, it
And-
is. So
and a little bit
if
of
you
that
find
has
it on
to-
sale, buy it.
And a little bit of that has to do with now that it's on Xbox.
Yeah.
Like there's a wider audience of people who are able to play
Yeah.
this, so they have to be much more transparent in what this game's going to be delivering when it comes out. I think it's already out on Xbox. I think it came out this
think
week.
so.
It came out this week. So
Yeah.
But
I
'cause
actually
it's
wanted to
the
bring.
new-
I actually wanted to bring that up in the conversation, guys. If you guys want to play that now, like it actually looks like a game.
No,
I'd be interested in playing it.
I'm
now.
willing to look at it if it's on sale again on Steam.
That's me. That's exactly it. Exactly.
Is there a story to it?
There apparently is now.
I don't even say that there's a story. It's like
No,
it's
they've
just,
added one.
But is
but
it?
like
Is it
the
what,
way that you can play that because it's third person. You can pull the camera,
Yeah, I
up,
know.
which is much better than first person.
But from what you're
experience.
describing, no, this
Yeah,
is
for Ross, for sure.
I hated my time with
he can't first person.
I
I
hated
can
my
some.
That's true. You've had weird games where you're like, this is fine. And you're going,
Yeah.
all right.
sometimes when I play games with you guys I get a little motion sick too.
That's, yeah.
But no, we kind of talked about this last week with Conan.
Yep.
It sounds like from what you're saying with the building and everything, and that's
No
exactly
Man's Sky has added a story.
exactly, yeah.
So
Conan, his story is you are naked on a cross. Conan cuts you down, and like legit naked.
do your thing.
Okay.
Like they don't
Like,
even leave
things
stuff
are
out. Oh
dangling.
yeah. And
Oh, it's
you-
quite endowed. There's an endowment.
There's an
meter.
endowment bar, yeah.
Apparently, yeah, you've seen that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Either way, so he cuts you down and he's like, live your life, blah blah blah. This is your second chance, and then leaves. So now you're in the desert naked.
Here's my question about that.
Yes.
With the endowment bar.
Yes.
Wow. Wow. That's what you got gathered from this.
No. It's
Is-
an important question.
Serious,
Because
but-
this is something I've never seen before. Is this like when you start into Skyrim or Fallout and you start up and it's like you're naked on a cross? Make your character.
Yes.
And you just move sliders and you
Yeah.
can do it however you want?
Yeah.
Is there anybody who does not just go full tilt
So,
on the endowment bar?
Brian
No
and I,
one.
Brian
There's no
and I did,
Yeah.
but then you sit there thinking I'm naked in the desert
Yeah.
and I'm a barbarian. This is probably quite dangerous, and it's gonna get cut.
hilarious.
It was hilarious. So we jacked it right, like we
Yeah.
ha, we